Fish have been a staple of household pets, the third most common pet following cats and dogs. About 3.4 million American households have a pet fish. But a lot of people treat fish more like props rather than pets. Small tanks, dirty water, just plain torturous living conditions. One video I found depicts a fish in a plastic jellyfish Bluetooth speaker lamp review on Amazon. Another video I found depicts fish placed in a door handle. The fish is in the putty cave of fish coffins, basically. Fish are treated like decorations or toys, with people showing no regards to the suffering they inflict upon their fish. Lots of people still believe that fish are unable to feel pain and suffering or have any sort of psychological, mental, emotional understanding of the world, but that's not true. Fish nociceptors, I think that's how you pronounce it, nociceptors, weren't discovered until 2002. So science establishing that fish feel pain is relatively new. In a study conducted by the University of Liverpool, zebrafish were given a choice of 2 tanks. One was barren, while the other was enriched with pleasant views and foliage. Initially, the zebrafish chose to be in the enriched tank. However, some of the fish were then injected with acid. Jesus Christ. While the barren tank was pumped full of painkillers, the fish who'd been injected with acid moved to the tank with painkillers. Another test that was conducted was Lego blocks were dropped into a fish tank. Under normal circumstances, a trout will avoid an unfamiliar object in its presence, but the trout in the study were injected with acid, and once they stopped trying to avoid the Legos, presumably because they were distracted by their own pain. Meanwhile, a second group of trout was injected with acid and then morphine. The trout who received the acid and the morphine behaved as they normally would have, that is, by avoiding the Legos. Crucially, the morphine does not eliminate the source of the pain, just the experience of it. The trout who received the morphine weren't in any less danger from the acid than the other trout, yet their behavior was completely different. This disparity in behavior only makes sense if the 2 groups of trout were having different experiences. The difference is that one group of the fish was experiencing pain, while the other was not. Fish are also highly intelligent animals. They can form strong social bonds, interact with their environment and other fish through various forms of communication, recognize individuals, and use tools to achieve specific goals. Fish experience stress when they're in a small, poorly maintained tank, if the water quality is low. Researchers discovered that small containers severely restrict their natural behavior, and poor water quality affects their ability to cope with social isolation and human presence. Walmart stopped selling fish in 2019 due to criticism over poor conditions and declining customer demand, also because it's expensive to take care of a bunch of live animals. You can still buy betta fish at places like PetSmart and Petco. Are these stores the same fucking place? Hold on. They're 2 different things, but these places rarely direct customers to purchase the proper foundations, while also offering tanks and terrariums too small for most of the animals on sale. For example, if you're going to buy a betta fish, okay, just one betta fish, okay, some of the things you need are a 5 to 10 gallon tank, 2 buckets or gallon jugs for water changes, a water conditioner or dechlorinator, a siphon or measuring cup for removing water, an appropriately sized heater, high quality betta food, a way to test ammonia nitrates, live plants, a sponge filter, a lid for your tank, beneficial bacteria, and a type of substrate. Personally, I believe everyone should be required to take an informative class about the pet they'd like to adopt, and only after you finish the class, then you can adopt the pet, okay? I had to do something similar for that, for if I wanted to adopt a bird, and the only way you're allowed to adopt a parrot or bird or whatever is you have to take an informative class. And after you do the class, you get a little certificate, and then you're allowed to buy a bird, okay? And honestly, I think more places should do that, because after I took the bird class, I decided I'm not buying a fucking bird. You can't have like candles or incense or nail polish. It'll kill it. Like if they smell it, they just die. And if you touch your bird wrong, then they get horny. Alright, where are we? In the end, pets are a great responsibility and a large financial investment. If you can't give an animal a happy life, just don't get one yet, okay? You can get one later, but pets are a lot of work, and you don't want to get a pet and make it suffer. Especially fish. Don't do it to fish. And yeah, that's it. That's my fish rant. Peace.